Hello, hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to Aiven Live. We have an exciting stream today of getting to know more about Hacktoberfest and Klaw. I'm excited about this because we also have last minute additions to the stream. So there is a lot to go over in a very short amount of time. My name is Jen. I am your host going through all of this, and I get to ask a lot of questions about Hacktoberfest and also going through and talking about what is Klaw, what is Hacktoberfest, how do people contribute, and I'm excited to hear about how everybody also Hacktoberfests. I guess you can say that plurally, Hacktoberfests. That works. We'll go with that. So, if everyone could introduce themselves, where are you? What time is it? I kind of like that one. It's 7:30 in the morning where I am. I am in the U.S. in Pacific. I am in Arizona, and it is 7:30 a.m. I'm a developer advocate here at Aiven, and how do I Hacktoberfest? I host live streams about Hacktoberfest and will get to contribute probably very last minute, like on the 25th, and hope that they get approved in time, which is not what I would suggest everybody else does. So if y'all could introduce yourself, please, and how you Hacktoberfest.
I will just start because I cannot stand awkward silence. No. Yeah, I'm Miriam. I'm currently in Helsinki in the headquarters, in Aiven's headquarter. And that means it is 5:30 p.m. for me at the moment. Usually I live in Germany. And I'm a front-end engineer at Aiven. I'm part of the Klaw team. And how do I Hacktoberfest? This time from the other side, which is super nice. And I think that were all questions, right?
Yes, and my name is Mathieu, and I'm also in Helsinki in the same office as Miriam, as you can tell by the exact same decor around me. And I also work at Aiven, and the way I Hacktoberfest is thoroughly. No, I mean that like this year it was mostly really about like making sure that people that want to get into Hacktoberfest can do so nicely with Klaw. That means with good issues that they can just pick up and work on and open PRs like without too much hassle. So it's like really like a great and new experience. Next can be Andrew.
Yes. Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm also in Helsinki, although I'm normally in Ireland. So it's like 5:30 here, but my clock on my laptop tells me it's 3:30. So my body is not really sure what's going on. And yeah, how do I Hacktoberfest? This year, similar to Miriam and Matthew, it's been the other side. So trying to write good issues that are a great introduction to Klaw. And also doing a lot of pull requests, a lot of PR reviews to, mostly I think this year I've been trying to concentrate on doing like being really punctual about getting back to people because, people are giving us their time and it's great to see it and I don't want them waiting around forever. So, that's me. Over to Murali.
Hi, I'm Murali, and also I'm based in together with Andrew and Miriam in Helsinki, but originally I'm from the Netherlands. And how do I Hacktoberfest is like you all said, it's also the same pull request and how we are actually improving our whole documentation and how we are actually reaching to most of the Kafka developers with our pull requests and trying to resolve most of the issues what they have. And it's really interesting for all the developers out there. So that's me. Next.
Cool. So last but hopefully not least, I'm Tim. I'm a senior developer advocate at DigitalOcean. I'll take you on a tour. I'm from Malta, live in the Netherlands, but I'm currently in Oslo for DevOps Days, which is awesome. But I joined specifically for this stream because the way I Hacktoberfest is by spreading the word of Hacktoberfest, helping teams like Aiven's team to promote their project, and yeah, just trying to help as many people as possible join Hacktoberfest. I do try to put some PRs in every now and again, but Hacktober is quite busy for me.
Yay. And thank you, everyone. Yes. So we have a bunch of the Aiven team and Tim together all in one. And a lot of it has to do with, we wanted to ask more questions about Klaw to get to why we're so excited about Hacktoberfest and also the history of Klaw and Hacktoberfest. So we got some added people. And I'm excited about that because it's, understanding a lot of the background helps us get more excited about what's going on other than just knowing, hey, this is cool, I want to do this, but why is it here? And so we're here to hopefully answer a few of those questions. And so who wants to answer what is Klaw? There are videos, which I will post in the chat so people can go watch them because there's two really great videos. One that it was an intro for this stream of getting everybody excited about this partnership, but also Morale made a video about what is Klaw. So both of those will be linked in the chat. Well, whoever wants to answer those.
Andrew, you want to go?
Sure, absolutely. So Klaw is it's a governance and administration tool for like the Kafka ecosystem. And so for anyone that's not familiar with Kafka, it's one of the most used technologies in enterprise and small businesses that have their own software applications. It's an extremely durable messaging bus. And what Klaw does is it allows you to add some governance around that. And it also means that you can easily administer all the different parts of it. So everything from creating topics to the security with the ACLs, the access control lists, to creating schemas which control what kind of messages can go across your Kafka topics, to creating connectors as well, which are really cool kind of Java applications that just suck up a load of data and throw them onto Kafka and get it out the other side, or vice versa. They can pull it out of Kafka and chuck it into a database kind of thing. So that's the administrator side. And then the governance side just means that you're able to do things like make sure that if you have to comply with something because of GDPR or HICWA data or something like that, Klaw makes it much easier to do that by putting governance basically and other kind of business rules that you can write around it. And it does it in a way that we think is like minimally invasive into actually people's daily lives. So it's the idea is for it to be as simple as possible to have good governance and administration of your Kafka topics and everything else.
Yeah, like actually, like the way I think about it is that when you use Klaw with your Kafka ecosystem, you never create anything directly. You only request to create something. You only create requests. And then someone else will examine your requests and decide if it is appropriate to do the action that you want to do. So this is like the kind of like the core of like governance with Klaw. It's like really like you always want two people to look at something before you do it. Like, and yeah, that's how I see it.
I can add also a couple of more interesting examples. So Klaw is not only about governance, but let's take an example of a big organization using Kafka. And a common situation is like they would have to run DRs, disaster recoveries. Now, if Kafka, because normally any application could run into some disasters and then they would lose their configurations. Now, how you could recover this configuration is quite an important aspect for any of the organizations, and Klaw plays a very important role here in restoring all the configuration of all the topics, schemas, because mostly this information is stored in Zookeeper, and that is very vulnerable to any sort of attacks, or not attacks, I would say, but losing the configuration. Now, in that case, in those situations with Klaw, you could very easily restore your configuration in minutes and get your Kafka up and running so quickly. So that is one of the coolest features, I would say, in Klaw.
So, if my understanding is correct, Klaw lowers the bar in enabling you to use Kafka.
Yeah, for sure. Or at least we like to think so. So, if you want to get onto our GitHub discussion page and let us know that something could be done better, absolutely let us know, because we're really interested in making it better and lowering that bar even further if we can.
I'm typing at the same time to put the GitHub discussion. So y'all give me 1 second, because I almost hit paste. There we go.
I think that follows through nicely, talking about GitHub in
It does.
our GitHub repo.
It does. And I'm curious, because I really do want to hear about, like, it's hard not to jump about what is Hacktoberfest and just like how to like contribute. So quickly, and I will post the link about more details about this, but how did Aiven and Klaw happen? Like, how did we do that? And follow up sub question of, why did the name change?
Tell us, Murali.
Well, okay, so where do I start? Bit of background. So it was called Kafka Wise originally, and before joining, they were thinking like, yeah, we have to rebrand it. Now, why we would have to rebrand? Because with Aiven's acquisition, we want to have proper rebranding and also matches with Aiven's existing, either with the logo or with the existing accounts or applications. And we want to take in Kafka Wise 2 letters, K and W, and we have KW there. And we also want to have crabs claws there. So that's how we all got to exactly. So that's how we got the word claw, where it matches KW as well as claws. That's how the rebranding happened.
I'm so
Yay.
happy I learned this story. I don't know why I never asked.
This is the things that I think about that keep me up. Like, but why? Why does this work this way? Why? It can be very time consuming, and also just the curiosity being solved is just such a happy feeling. So thank you. Now, how big is Aiven's Klaw team, or who all is working on Klaw?
I mean, you are looking at most of them. So we are all the engineers in the team, and we also have a product manager. We have like design, like UX, basically part-time. So it's not they are not completely in our team, but work for us. Technical writer also, especially for the documentation, but also like for text or copy in the application. And did I forget anyone? An engineering manager, of course. And I think that's all, right? I hope I did not forget anyone. That would be really mean. I don't think so. Yeah.
They'll just have to watch the live stream and make sure that, hey, put it in the comments. Be like, hey, I'm on the team too. But I feel like I'm just gonna be like, hey, I'll be on the team temporarily. I'll be on the team today. I'm gonna be part of the team today. Make it an honorary member that I volunteered myself. Now, to shift us a little bit and to start getting into the juicy details, what is Hacktoberfest, Tim? This one's all you because I am curious about like how Hacktoberfest and DigitalOcean work together too. Like how they go like hand in hand, and I'm not sure everybody understands why they're so associated. And if you could fill us in.
Cool. So Hacktoberfest is a global event of helping people getting into open source. We love open source. Both DigitalOcean and Aiven love open source. And open source cannot happen without all of you out there. It's a big effort, and this hopefully enables people who are thinking of starting to participate in open source, lowers the bar by finding friendly communities, easy to start with, pull requests and issues, and definitely get more people on board. This is what we want. This is want more participation in the community. And this is why I love Hacktoberfest. It's a global thing. It's our 10th year, so we've been doing this for 10 years. Started off with, I believe, the first year. I'm just checking my notes here. So we had on our first year 676 registered participants and 50,000 valid contributions. That was the first year. And 2 years ago, it went up to 130,000 registered participants and almost 500,000 contributions. So we've grown exponentially, and all because of people like you guys, you folks who just put in the effort in creating issues that can be dealt with by first-timers. So that's what Hacktoberfest is. It's about community getting together and solving problems and issues in a friendly way. The next question, Jen, because I went on a bit of a storytelling there, was about the cooperation between Aiven and DigitalOcean. Aiven and DigitalOcean have been going on for a fair amount of time, 4 or 5 years almost. And we started off from the get-go of DigitalOcean wanting to, so pre-me DigitalOcean as well. When DigitalOcean wanted to help and supply managed databases, we actually got Aiven on board to help us because obviously you're experts at that, and you helped us, and we still work together up to this day. Recently, we deployed a managed Kafka service, and again, you guys were on board. We got your help. We got your training as well. So we've always been a good partnership. So I'm really excited about this stream and getting to work with you guys. I talked to Miriam and Mathieu a while back, and I heard their stories as well of how they contributed to their first Hacktoberfest and how they got into it. And I loved it. And I also heard you, Jen, saying last year you joined and you only recently became a programmer, and how Hacktoberfest helps you. And that is what it's all about, helping people get into this industry.
Yay, thank you. And yes, I've had your background on the entire time with the Hacktoberfest home screen. And if you could show us a little bit about this and the participation, but like one thing that I love that Hacktoberfest is doing, yes, I totally want last year's shirt so anybody that has an extra 2022 Hacktoberfest shirt that you do not want, please let me know. Because it was my first one, and so now I just really want it. Special memories. That is all. That is the reason I want it. Yet I love the fact that Hacktoberfest is looking into ways that doesn't give like so much swag ends up being kind of everywhere. You know, we have swag we really love. We have swag that we're like, oh, that shirt's not soft enough, so you never wear it. And then it goes to, you know, Goodwill. Sometimes they go into waste. And I love that Hacktoberfest this year is going and doing green options. So if you could go through that while you go through the website, I would greatly appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, so hacktoberfest.com is your go-to site. There's explanation, there's history, there's a lot of information. We've got a Discord for people who, for projects who want to participate. There are event kits as well. There's a lot of information. And if you want to participate, you can go on the participation tab. It will tell you our values. Everyone is welcome. Quality is fun. Quantity is fun, but at the end of the day, we appreciate quality and focus on the short-term action, but long-term impact. So those are our values. And if you want to participate, register between the 26th of September, which has passed, up until you can still register to the 31st of October. So yeah, Jen, you're still good to go. Find pull requests either in GitHub or in GitLab, and look for the Hacktoberfest label within the issues. Create that pull request, push that code, push that documentation, and then the maintainers need to accept your pull request. And then, as Jen said, this year we're doing the first 50,000 participants who create that PR, that first PR, will plant a tree in their name through Tree Nation. I think even more so this year, the weather has been crazy, and definitely providing to the environment, making sure we don't ship all over the world. As we've seen, Hacktoberfest has grown exponentially, and we do get PRs from all over the world. I think I really like this. But you not only get a tree planted in your name, you also get extremely cool badges on your GitHub and GitLab user page. These are provided by Hoplin, some really cool ones. So definitely push those. You can push up to 4. You can get different badges. You can modify them as well. So you can get them individually just for you. So yeah, create those pull requests. And you've got all of October to do this. You get your unique digital reward if you do that.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'm going to steal the screen for a second because I really want to show the hologram because they're really fun. And it in my mind, this makes Hacktoberfest even more fun. Maybe that's just me, but I'm like, I'm using GitHub and you get your participant badges. And you can add them here. And then I'm going to get more this year. And I'm really excited about that because they're so cute. And then people know you had contributed. So definitely look into doing that. Now, for those who want to prepare for Hacktoberfest, like, how do you prepare for participating in it? And like, what do you go into? And like, how do projects prepare? So let's start with Tim on these as an overall Hacktoberfest, and then go into what Aiven and Klaw is doing to give some examples.
Yeah, so from the 26th of September, projects were allowed to register themselves to participate within Hacktoberfest. And again, if you go to hacktoberfest.com/participation, there are a plethora of projects, both in GitHub and in GitLab. You'll see a full list where you can choose what project you want to go into. And I think this is one of the most asked questions. How do I get started? Find a project, find something you're passionate about or have been involved. So for example, when I started by creating a pull request for Home Assistant, which is an open source home automation system, which I used and love. and I created my first pull request during Hacktoberfest because I wanted to give back to the community. So find something you love doing and find a project. As I said, over 150,000, I think, programs, projects in getting involved. One of them being Klaw, which is awesome. And create that issue. Start understanding what it is. Ask questions in the issue. The maintainers are there to help. This is what Hacktoberfest is all about. The maintainers are there to help you get involved. And then create your pull request. Once you do that,
I'm a bit
you get your
delayed in
badge.
adding
Yep.
this to the screen, but I did. I realized I removed yours, and I'm like, I don't want to just randomly share his screen without, any, heads up. You never know. And so to give some visibility to what Tim was saying, this participation page is so helpful with getting started and just repeating everything Tim said on Ditto, just giving a bit of a visual to that, because this is a great way to get started.
Yeah,
So
so
thank you.
just there to start contributing. You've got 2 links for GitHub and GitLab with all the projects in it. And again, we've got a Discord channel as well, which is linked on the website. Come in, ask questions. Don't be afraid.
Yes, thank you. And I feel like that's one of the biggest ones to get over is like, don't be afraid. Oh, it's scary. I will say that 100% as a new contributor. I still consider myself new because I haven't been doing them enough to get used to it. It can be scary. Yet the communities want to see you succeed. Like everybody wants to see you succeed. So ask questions. If it's a certain way that a request is like, hey, to put in, to do this fix and submit the PR, you have to do XYZ. A lot of times they'll comment back, no matter who it is. They'll just comment back and be like, hey, you missed this, just so that way you know in the future. So definitely do that. I love it. And also, I want to link the Discord for Hacktoberfest because that is definitely a great resource if you get stuck on something. So check that out. Now, anything you want to add before I pivot it over to Aiven and telling us more and showing us a bit about Klaw's, what we're doing with Klaw?
No, I'm excited to see. I mean, I've had a sneak peek already, but I'm excited to see what the team at Klaw are doing and how they're contributing to Hacktoberfest.
Awesome. Thank you. Miriam, I believe this is all you now to show us around.
Yes, that is my screen, my big moment. Okay, so this is our Klaw repository, and these are our issues that are labeled with Hacktoberfest. And as you can see, we have a bunch of them. And also, we wanted to add that we will, during October, still add new issues. So we are still looking into what is something that would be a good issue for Hacktoberfest, what is something that can be done in a comfortable way by an outside contributor. So this is not everything, but yeah, there's a pretty good list of issues. And we also have a second repository, and that is our documentation repository. Like it's that's not the right, this one. And documentation means it's a documentation about the Klaw product. In our Klaw repository, we have a technical documentation about the code and code decisions. We try to have an exhaustive documentation to make it easier for other ones to come in, understand decisions, understand architecture, and so on, and contribute. And the Klaw docs repository is our documentation that you can find under the link klaw-project.io. I hope that was the correct one. And also here we have issues labeled with Hacktoberfest. A lot of them in the moment are aligning use of language and words and spelling and so on. And we also have added technical support, like we have a way to lint or to check this kind of errors. And also here we will add additional issues. And I can show you, like we picked 2 different issues to show you what kind of issues we have. For example, this is one labeled Hacktoberfest that is a bit more complex. And in our issues, we try to be precise, but if anything's missing, please feel free to ask us. And for example, we have a problem here that we fetch an information about consumer offset a bit too eagerly. So it's kind of an unnecessary API call in some cases. And as you can see, Mathieu has added also a video recording, so you can really see and experience what is happening. And then there's also a description, like how could this be improved? Like these are examples and so on. And yes, that is one of our more complex issues that really improves the functionality of Klaw. And then we have also, that is one example for the Klaw docs. We have an issue here that is a bit more vague, but that has a reason, because we want to remove potential condescending language from our documentation. Like there are certain phrases, if you use them, they can sound condescending or maybe just make people feel bad. So if I read something like, "Oh, it is easy to do so," but for me it's not easy, then I may feel bad. And yeah, we have a detailed description why we want to do that, also linked to resources. We also have explained how you can do an automated check that flags your potential usage of condescending language. It does not have a context check, so there are words in there that are completely okay, but could, in a specific context be not okay. And so this is something that everybody that has, for once, that wants to go a bit into language and also maybe cares about that kind of thing, that is something that you can do, and it's not really a lot of technical knowledge you need to bring. Yeah, these are two of our issues. Do you want to see something else?
I just want to say I love this. I think contributions which are not code specific are extremely important as well. And for people who are still getting used to, how to create a PR, how to use Git, this is a perfect example of a great Hacktoberfest issue to tackle. Because you don't need to focus on code. You just need to focus on, creating a PR and using Git and pushing and having that communication with the community. Plus, documentation is extremely important.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I love this.
I believe my first open source contribution was actually a documentation contribution. And the contribution was not extremely complex, but what was a little bit more complex for me at the time was the process of creating a pull request against an open source project. Like knowing that you need to, create your own fork or clone the project, then create your PR against the main, in this way. It's very different from when you are already kind of working in a team on a product and you just have only internal contributors. So it's always easy to know where the pull requests come from. So yeah, it's a very good experience to know how to contribute more than what you contribute. I hope that we will offer this first experience to a lot of people.
And also we hope that, or we already experienced it actually, that by people going into the project and getting into it and reading documentation and checking out the code and the structure, we get also feedback for is the documentation we have, for example, how to run the project or how to contribute, is it clear enough? Can we improve on that? So that kind of feedback is also super important for us, because how do you build a community if not being welcoming and clear and inviting to that community, right?
I agree. And thank you. I was wondering and this is just me not knowing in general, so I'm kind of excited about this, and if there is a way of seeing it, are all issues Hacktoberfest issues? Is it when somebody does Hacktoberfest and is a maintainer, is it where the entire repo is Hacktoberfest, or is each individual issue? like you have to mark them as Hacktoberfest. Could we get some clarity around that?
Yeah, I think like you need to specifically tag the issues that are eligible for Hacktoberfest with the Hacktoberfest tag. So it's like a bright yellow tag on our project, and you can like filter the issues by clicking it. And as Miriam said, like we currently have like I think like I don't know between 10 and 20 that exist currently, but we'll continue like adding more because like I don't know, people are engaging with them, so like maybe like we'll not have enough for the full month. We don't know, but yeah, like it's you need to pick them specifically because, of course, they need to be issues that can be, you know, that you can wrap your head around in less than a month, and also provide a PR in less than a month. And sometimes this is not possible with all the issues on a repository, which require like kind of prior knowledge or like more long-term thinking that is not necessarily possible in such a short time frame.
Thank you. And I'm going to.
Can I
Oh,
just
go ahead.
add? Can I
Yes,
just add to
please.
that? So, even though Hacktoberfest technically is only for the month of October, keep on contributing. So once you put in, there will still be, you know, issues which are good for first timers as well in November, and keep on building on that experience. So just because Hacktoberfest technically is done doesn't mean you don't have to stop contributing. As Mathieu was saying, there's a lot of excitement about it, and a lot of people are getting involved. So don't get disheartened if you don't see a Hacktoberfest label anymore. Talk to the project maintainers and get involved.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Just to add to that, we also like have labels good first issue that are especially for first or like early time contributors, and also now adding help wanted and or up for grabs. I think like we still need to see what the best is, but using labels that are like very explicit about, hey, you can, please, you are welcome to contribute here. We should add up for grabs, but with a C, right?
So I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what I was thinking. And the other thing that slipped my mind was when you said we were in the Aiven headquarters today, I thought you said hack quarters, and I thought that was very apt for the month that's in it. So, but yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could add, because like honestly, Miriam, Matthew have been doing such a great job of creating the issues and curating them to introduce people to Klaw, is that, you know, it's a fully open source project, and if someone does a number of first issues and they feel confident, you can actually go in and you can just give us a heads up if you want to work on a ticket, because that just means that we'll keep our hands off it if you want to have a go. So like, you know, it's a fully open source, and we're hoping to build a strong community around it. So, you know, we'd love to have any interaction, whether it be in the discussions on issues, about the documentation. You know, we love all of it.
Thank you. And I have currently, I just linked this for everyone for the open repo for Klaw. And I'm also putting this here just in case anybody needs a little refresher of when you go into a repo, if you go over to issues, and that's where we'll see the gold for Hacktoberfest. And you can also, if I remember, label, and we can scroll and find Hacktoberfest ones. So if you want to be able to just do Hacktoberfest ones, you can add, I believe, oh, wait, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. We can also scroll down and see all the different ones if we want to add like good first issue, which I probably, I just scrolled past. So there are options. So definitely come in and check it out. Let us know if you have questions. And thank you for going over these with us, because I feel like this is a great way for individuals to get an idea and see where they can get started. And now, to wrap up, I am a bit curious about how we're talking about when a user goes into it. What if somebody has an issue that they want to post and work on? What does that process look like? I can we hear from Klaw side and maybe from Tim what you see from like from the community overall?
So yeah, people can create their own issues if they see something that they're using Klaw and they find a bug. That's all part of the community and creating an issue, and then they can work on it. If they want it to be part of Hacktoberfest and get the badges, then the maintainers need to accept it as a Hacktoberfest issue once the PR goes in. But yeah, I'm sure the team will be more than happy to get issues in so that they can be fixed.
Honestly,
and even if you have an issue but you don't want to work on it, I think it's always good to understand, there is something which isn't working, and for the maintainers to know. So definitely create those issues.
Yeah, I mean, this is like my favorite thing when I see like someone posting an issue that is new to me, that I've never seen in all my hours working in the thing. It is like a little treasure that I will cherish. Well, except if it's a very annoying issue that is very hard to fix, then I will cherish it less. But at least I will still take care of it. Yeah, like, yeah, it's very good. Like, and just having conversation, like, the community aspect of open source is like really what makes it like compelling. Like, is that you are directly in link. Like, there's a direct link between the people that write the thing and the people that use the thing, and the blurry boundaries between the two is what makes it great, because like the contributor is your user, and your user is also a contributor. Like, that's just what's super cool and what's super exciting. So yeah, please open issues, comment, do the things. It's awesome. We're very nice.
Small thing to add, we also have in our contribution guidelines, like there is a little section for opening an issue, because opening an issue is contributing, and there's a little description like when you should open an issue and what information it needs, and we also have templates. So yeah, it's for us, it's a contribution, like opening the issue that helps us learn something about our product we didn't know, or like think about new features. Please be welcome. Be welcome is not English, right? It was a long day, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Something that I must call out, and I feel like I need to call this out all the time, but English is my only language, and I don't English well. Where everyone, like majority of our team and a lot of our customers and things like that are international and speak multiple languages, and I'm like, at least everyone else has a reason. I don't English well, and it's my only language, so it made sense to me.
You're doing okay, Jen. You're doing okay.
Yes. Yay. That's good. That's good. Now, I am linking in the contributing guidelines in the chat as well. And to wrap up, and this is a curveball for everybody, whoever wants to answer it, tell us about your first open source PR. I'll go first while everybody else thinks. So I honestly was like terrified about PRs. Like, I'm like, I don't understand. I barely get my repos working myself. Like, half the time I don't clone them properly to my computer, and then I upload and they're on too many different branches and I just break things. It's like something I am amazing at doing. And then Open Sauced and B. Dougie was live streaming about good first issues. And I was like, what is this? I can do this. I feel like I can do this. And he mentioned a good first issue. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I can do this. I can fix this thing. And I believe it was just like text to fix. And then I'm messaging my friend Ben and going, how do you even submit a PR? Like, I don't even know what. And it was very kind of my friend Ben to come on to Discord and walk me through it to submit my first PR. And thank you so much, Ben, and for Open Sauced, because it got me over the scariness. And it, for me, was absolutely terrifying a year ago, around this time a year ago, doing that. And just think like how much can evolve and change over a year and where people can go. And that's why I'm so curious if you also can share, if you're comfortable sharing, what was your first PR, when it was from, because seeing people be able to get over that first scary thing and that you can continue afterwards would be great.
I can share maybe. So 6 years ago, I opened my first PR to Greylog open source project. And it was a very big PR. Originally, I started with very few changes. It is for Kafka. So basically in Kafka, there is something about a format change. And in those days, it is quite a complicated one. And I started with a very small one, but then it ended up with a very huge. And after getting many how would I say, many reactions on that particular PR. It became a very popular one, but it took almost 1 year to get it merged. But after getting merged, it has become so useful that many companies who are using Greylog, immediately they got to migrate their Kafka servers, and that was one of the biggest pull requests it has become for a Greylog project. So I'm very, very satisfied and be proud of that particular PR. Yeah, so that was my first. And again, I didn't submit any more requests for that particular project, but that was one very memorable one for me.
Thank you.
I cannot remember my first PR. I was there trying to search GitHub for my old GitHub name that I was using at the time, but I can't find it because I'm dyslexic. And I was like typing out the name, and I was like, oh, I'm spelling this correctly now. How did I spell this miscorrectly at the time? But I do remember the terror of opening the first PR, because I was like, is this just going to merge when I create it? Or like, can I just push to main by accident? And, I was afraid of all these things where I might accidentally push this fix and no one would see it, and then I'd break it all. And yeah, I'd say even if you end up doing, well, no, one, you can't do that. So they have like loads of branch protection, so it's not going to happen. But like, yeah, it's actually fine. It's always fine. And there's committers and people that are really familiar with the code that like look at it and are really nice and tell you, oh, the reason that this is causing a problem is because of this thing over here that you don't even know about. And they'll explain to you, and you get so much more knowledge. So those PRs are actually such a brilliant tool to learn more as well about the stuff you're contributing to. But yeah, I was terrified.
I'm still scrolling my GitHub, so still looking.
And I already answered this question earlier, but I will just like say, like, to reinforce Andrew's point, like the fear of breaking the project with your PR is very strong, and it's very irrational. Like it is like I forgot about this fear before Andrew said it. Like, but I was like, oh yes, it's true. Like, oh no, I'm going to click the button and now the project is down. Like, but it does not happen ever. Like no one. It's like an ant being being scared of like tipping over an elephant by hitting it. Like, it's fine.
That's a great analogy. I love that. I mentioned my geekness of home automation and Home Assistant, and I don't know if I should be embarrassed. I wanted my TV to do something which wasn't I wasn't allowed. I wasn't being able to do, and I needed to change a bit of the code, and I created that PR. Just because I wanted to, I wanted to control my TV from my smartphone rather than from the remote. But yeah, but it got me in. And this was pre-Tim in tech. So that was fun.
Yeah, I cannot find the first, but one that I really remember is like people who know me know I'm very excited about testing, and I had something in I think it was a few test utils documentation that the documentation did not explain, and I couldn't find. And then I thought about I could actually maybe do that, and it was really just adding, I think, 1 or 2 words and adding a link to another page. But then I felt like, oh my God, I found something and I fixed it myself. I'm awesome. Like at this 10 minutes of, oh my God. Yeah, I remember that one.
There's
And it was
like also,
so it was especially nice for me.
yeah, and I think like there's another thing I think that is really interesting to think about is that as users of open source projects, like especially earlier in your life before you have misadventures befall you, you tend to think that these are perfect projects. Like there are no bugs. You're just like holding it wrong, right? You're trying to do a thing and it doesn't work, and you're like, oh, it's my fault. I'm just not very good at this. But after a while, you realize that no, sometimes the thing is broken, and you can't fix it if you want. You know, like, and it's very valuable that you actually found it to be broken, because other people probably did as well, right? So yeah, so and taking the extra step to actually go back to the project and open an issue, maybe it's a known issue, you know, maybe you comment if you find your issue, and you kind of like contribute your own experience and your, you know, debugging. And yeah, okay, I'm going to stop to talk now because I'm rambling, but like I'm just like saying like everything is fine, and you're better than you think.
So one thing I want to point out is hearing all these stories is the smiles on everybody's faces as they recall their first PR of, you know, what they've done and how they felt after that scary bit, the euphoria of it all. So definitely get involved and feel that way.
I'm gonna mute and unmute myself like 7 times. Y'all should see me when and next week I'll be doing, I think it's Next Nation next week. I should probably look which one it is. But live streaming or like hosting, emceeing a conference in front of like, you know, like 10,000 people, and I forget to mute or unmute myself and start talking. It is great. It is so fun. Thank you, everyone, because yes, agreed 100% with Tim is as we're talking about this, we're like, it was really scary. It was terrifying. And we're all smiling. Like we're all going, yeah, we got over that. Like we got over this really scary part. And thank you, everybody, for sharing times that helps us all get more encouraged to get started, because it's like the first few. Because I have to remember now how to submit a PR because it's been a while, y'all. I've been working on way other things than this. So thank you all for joining. Anything anyone wants to add last minute before we sign off?
I mean, Jen, if you're looking for issues, I know 2 repositories where you could, you know, check out.
Yes, thank you. And actually, that is what I'm going to be pasting before we end is the repos and the that we mentioned, or the issues that we mentioned, and the 2 repos. There we go. That is what I'm trying to say. They don't copy and paste very prettily though. So they will be on YouTube. They will be in the description and they will be pasted there. And thank you everyone for joining today. Greatly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
You.
Bye.